Hello, great brethren. How are you doing? Today, we're actually going through common surnames that are Welsh. See, here's an issue. Many so-called black men, they don't really truly know the origins of their names and last names and first names. They don't take time to actually do those studies. Alright, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. Yes, great brethren, I'm here to help you. Yep, me. Simple me. So, what we're going to do is try to bring you the light. See, a lot of black men are lied to, and the most lied to group probably in America. Surnames were not passed through slavery. Oftentimes you had, through the medieval period, many of your black ruling families and ruling orders in Europe were forced out of Europe, and they found solace in the Caribbean, Central America. These were Irish, these were Celts, these were Welsh, these were people that had Germanic descent, people that were Scottish, etc., 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 etc. Once those empires start to fall, they had to escape by any means necessary. And plus you have to spread by ethnic Europeans that go by the racial caste as white now in the United States, that spread very, very virulent viruses, specifically the bubonic plague, or quote unquote the black plague. Because if you're looking for all type of rats that were spreading that plague, where are the bones? Don't see it. You don't see it in the cavernous regions where Christians would actually go and pray, during different times and rulership where it wasn't so good to be a Christian, so they had to go underground. Nope, you don't see rat bones all scattered through different sediment levels of Europe with huge and horrible plagues that occurred. No, it was the movement of ethnic Europeans who go by the racial caste as white that brought these different diseases which killed many of your black nobility. But let's get into your Welsh names. Okay, so Wales lies to the west of Great Britain Island and is part of the United Kingdom, just in case you didn't know that. Most Welsh surnames are patronymic and mainly derived from paternal lineage. You got that, guys? During the Middle Ages, they used to add a prefix such as ap and ad, meaning son of, and furch, meaning daughter of. So that would be more matrilineal. Okay, so you guys got that? So let's get into the first names. Before we actually start, you guys want to go and you want to see some of that. You want to go look at Kenneth Dub, the King of Scotland. Okay, and there's a good article on Dub, the King of Scotland, King Edward, Queen Charlotte. I have several videos. I don't know if they're all on YouTube. Some are probably on Patreon, because as you know, Patreon is a great space for so-called black male providers of content. You don't have to worry about all the hate. So let's get into it. Aubrey, as you guys all know, unfortunately, the Aubrey name. Okay. Unfortunately, with the shooting and the death of Aubrey. But let's get into the name. The Norman name arrived in Wales after Norman conquest. Now, I might do a video on the Norman conquest of Wales region. The original bearer of the name was known to live in a place planted with elder trees. It is also a derivative of a baptismal name, meaning son of Aubrey. So if you got baptized and so they were Christian and you were the son of Aubrey, you would get that name, Aubrey. Bach. Now, Bach, he was a great composer, so-called black man. It was used as a nickname for a short or small man and is taken from the Welsh word meaning little, Bach. Okay, now Bedeau. So many of you guys know the movie where there was a character named Bedeau. Okay, so I like this one. It's a variant of the word Bedeau, which is a pet form of the Welsh name Meredith, which means sea lord or protector of the sea in Welsh. Okay, we're going Meredith in a second. Okay, so we're going to Collins. Surname is derived from Colin, which is a Welsh word for hazel, which is brown. Okay, or hazel grove. Hazel is a shrub and the source of hazelnut. The surname likely has English and Irish origins. You got that, bros? So, in the ancient England and its Black Past, a retrospective book, you guys go check that out. I did a video, actually a couple videos on that. They'll often use brown and derivatives of brown in different languages, whether it be Celt, whether it be Gaelic, whether it be Scot, whether it be, what's the other? Dutch, okay? And they will use brown, brun, etc. in order to symbolize a person that was tawny or swarthy or so-called black, all right? Let's go. So when you see hazel, these are just brown. So you have several people that actually fit this bill, and that would be the Collins brothers that played in NBA, Jaron Collins and Jason Collins. Okay, so you have Collins, Marty Collins, another NBA player for the Clippers, all the way back in the day. All right, so let's keep on going. So after that, we've got Idris. Now, of course, Idris Elba. All right, now he has descendantry from Africa, and he also has descendantry from Europe. So he actually would look like quite a bit of the people that were walking around England hundreds upon hundreds of years ago. Okay, so the variant comes from Welsh personal name Idris, which is named with two Welsh elements. Oud, meaning Lord, and Ris, meaning impulsive or ardent. Something I didn't know. So we're going on to Edwards. Doesn't that sound familiar? You got a lot of the so-called black people named Edwards. Okay, quite a bit. Musicians, entertainers, athletes. Okay, your number one pick in the NBA draft, last name is Edwards. Okay, so you got a lot of cats named Edwards. Okay, so you get the picture. You have Carson Edwards. Okay, he plays for the Boston Celtics. Edwards is a very popular name amongst so-called brothers. All right, so let's keep on going. All right, try not to make this too long. Now, of course, Ellis. I knew a guy when I was younger that was named Ellis. Good guy, tall, very tall. His last name is Ellis. Then you have Meredith. Yeah, I told you we were getting to it. So we skip a couple of names, go to Meredith. Of course, you got Harvard there before we get to Meredith. Okay, so with Meredith, man, okay, you've got Meredith, the football player. You've got, of course, your politician, Meredith. All right, so we're going to go back up because we went a little bit too far. Okay, but Meredith, man, and what does it mean? It's derivative from the old Welsh name Meridi or Meridud, which means great lord of the sea or sea lord. Another origin of the name could be found old Welsh name Morgetiud, which is first part meaning pomp or splendor, a second portion meaning lord. So when you think of Meredith, whether it's a basketball player, whether it's a football player, whether it's a civil rights leader, think of that, lord. Okay, and there were lords of so-called black skin throughout Europe. Okay, so you have Gaynor. Now we all know Gaynor. All right, we're not going to go to the other person named Gaynor. Yeah, it's not a so-called black person, but their ethnicity is actually tied to Welsh. So you have so-called black athletes named Gaynor. If I can find pictures, I'll put them up. It's a variant of the feminine name Ganur. It came from Gwynethar, a compound of Welsh elements Gwyn, meaning fair, and Wyth, meaning smooth, and Farer, meaning large. A few variants of the name Gaynor and Guinevere and Jennifer, which are popular feminine names. There you go. Griffiths. Yes, Griffiths. So you're looking at Griffith, and Griffiths, you know, they have ancient origins with cathedrals and things of that nature. And you have famous track athletes, oh yes, that are named Griffiths. So you have the 100-meter gold medalist and world record holder still for women, Griffith. Okay, and you have different people named Griffith throughout American sports. All right. And famous one is Dr. Duncanstein. You're seeing him right now from the Utah Jazz, NCAA champion. All right. So Griffith is a popular name. And yeah, Blake Griffin, different, but I guess you can kind of say it's similar, but it's not. All right. So let's move on. All right. Hopkins. Oh yeah, we all know B. Hopkins. All right. So you've got Bernard Hopkins, the X-Man, who's really praising Asar and Osiris, throwing that X up. But for the most part, B. Hop, the great boxer in history, one of the great ones through American history of boxing, really world history. He is truly exceptional. And of course, you have a football player named Hopkins. But I digress. Let's keep on going. And what does Hopkins mean? Well, it's a patronymic. That means it's from men. Welsh surname meaning son of Hopkin. The name Hopkin is a derivative of the name Robert that comes from Old Germanic name Robert, H-R-O-B-E-R-T, meaning bright frame. There you go. Hopkin. Hughes. You're seeing the Hughes brothers. Okay. They made great films. All right. You remember them from putting films out in the 90s with Tupac. All right. So it is a Welsh variant of the surname Howells, the son of Howell. Another origin can be named Hugh, which comes from the Old Germanic word hug, meaning heart or spirit. Okay. And of course, we have James, but we're not going into that because that has connections to Norman conquest and things of that nature, which is why you have LeBron James with King James. I think he's somewhat aware of the origin of his name. And of course, you have Jenkins. How many black men you know named Jenkins? Okay. You know how they always have the joke, Rodney Jenkins? There's a reason why you have Rodney and Jenkins and stuff like that. You know, they like to play around with words. All right. So we got Meredith. So we discussed Meredith, Mardud. Okay. You also have Moore. Yeah. Moore, often used word. People misuse it, but it's a derivative for the Welsh word Mawr, M-A-W-R, meaning big or large. It may have been originally nicknamed for a large, big man. Okay. It's very rare you'll see someone with the name Moore being a tiny, petite person within media or sports. Okay. The reason why I'm using sport images is because you guys can associate more closely with sports athletes and individuals that are named Moore or different things of that nature. Okay. So we have several people named Moore, from Mikey Moore. Okay. Oh yes, Mikey Moore. Great basketball player, played all the way back in the 2000s, early 2010s. You have Ben Moore. Okay. He currently plays for the Indiana Pacers. And then of course you have Maya Moore, another big person. She's about 6 feet, about 170. And recently she just got her husband exonerated for a crime he didn't actually commit. And he's free man now. And she married him. So you can go check that article out. And there's a picture. All right. So there you go. Most people don't understand the origin of the word Moore. Now you do. And of course, you got Moss, aka you got moss. It's a derivative of either Old English moss, meaning peat bog, or Irish malomana, referring to an ancient Gaelic devotee. Another origin of the name could be the Hebrew name Moses. There you go. So you got Moses. Shouts out to Moss, the great. Then of course you got Owen, and you all know one of the most famous Owens. I'm not talking about the comedian. I'm talking about Terrell Owens. Yes, Hall of Famer. His name derives from a Welsh person named Owen, which is likely a Welsh form of the name Eugene. The name Eugene comes from the Greek name eugenos. That means well-born or noble. Okay, which is where you get eugenics. All right. Then you have Pierce. Okay. It's a patronymic, again, comes from the father, from the Welsh person named Pierce. The name Pierce comes from Peter, which comes from Greek word Petros, meaning stone. Okay. That's the stone man. The man of stone. The man that can cut stone. The man that is a stonemason. The man that is Petros. So you got Paul Pierce, okay, from the Boston Celtics. There you go. And I think he'll probably be a Hall of Famer pretty soon. He did very well in NBA. Shouts out to him. And of course you have Silly. Okay. And you go, whoa, Silly? Yeah. You've got rest in peace, but Silly from the Minnesota Timberwolves. And he also played for the Pistons. That's where I remember him. Malik Silly, when he played for the Pistons. Man, he was a great player. The surname is derivative of the Welsh person names Self or Silu. The names are Welsh versions of the name Solomon, a biblical name that means peaceful. Okay. And then you've got a name that most people have heard millions of times but never really thought about it, and that's Thomas. Okay, you got Clarence Thomas. You've got numerous people whose last names are Thomas, so-called black men. And it's a biblical name that was popular in medieval times, person in Europe, and it is derivative of Aramaic by name meaning twin. So it's Aramaic by name, and that means twin. So who is his twin? Who knows? Maybe it was a former justice. Nah. So the last thing is Yarwood. Now you guys say, what? I haven't seen someone named Yarwood. There's a lot of football players coming up named Yarwood. They say, wow, that's such a weird name. Where does that come from? Well, it's an angelicized form of Welsh personal name meaning Iorwerth, which the Welsh element for Lord or lenient for birth meaning handsome. Welsh surnames are interesting and have several unique attributes. Okay, so there's some Yarwoods that are coming right now in football, so look out for them. All right, so these are some of the names, and of course you've got very basic names that most people don't think much about, and we'll go through them. You got Yale. That is a Welsh name meaning fertile upland. Okay, Williams, another patronymic surname meaning son of William. That comes from Old German, Wilhelm, composed of Old Germanic elements, meaning desire and helm and helmet of protection. Okay, Vaughn. You've seen numerous players named Vaughn, male and female, WNBA, NBA. Tudor. Okay, we did Thomas. Roderick. You don't really see too many black men named Roderick, but you do see Roberts. Okay, Pride. Price, Phillips, Perry. You don't really see too many black men named Nevitt, but I have seen a few Nevitts in my past. Morris, of course, the Morris twins from the NBA. Okay, and it's an angelicized form of the Welsh person named Maurice. And you all know the story of Maurice, who was a patron saint. All right, that comes from the late Roman name Maurus, meaning dark skin. All right. Then you have Maddox. I know one guy that played football in a Big 12 named Maddox. It's a brother. Jones, John, Jenkins, we already said it. Idle, Howell, Harvard. Okay, so Harvard, that's it means here in English. Army, ford, meaning a shallow section of a river or stream. Most people don't even know what ford means. Okay. Guild, and then you have Floyd, but most people don't have Floyd as a last name. Okay, that's why I didn't use it. You see it as a first name, like Floyd Mayweather, etc., etc. You don't typically see Ford. And with Nevins, there was a former New Orleans Saint player named Nevins, if I can remember straight. Brother, he went to Clark, Atlanta. So And of course, you got Evans. You got Tyreke Evans from the NBA. And you also had Jeremy Evans, etc., etc. Okay. Great basketball player. Du. You don't really see too many people named Du, but there are some. And of course, Cecil, mostly first name, usually not last. And that will be it, because most of the other names you don't really see too many black people using. But these are some of the common Welsh last names. You have one of these Welsh last names or surnames, it's a great chance you have ancestry that goes all the way back to ancient Europe, that had to flee Europe in order to get away from persecution, pogroms, genocides, different plagues, of course persecution, etc., etc., etc. So take some time, look into your last name, understand that it didn't come from slavery. Sometimes it came from names that were passed down intergenerationally from father to son. It's patrilineal. All right, your name didn't arrive just from happenstance. So you must look into your history, take some time, and do your due diligence in your own investigation. All right, brothers, I'm out. Peace.